1, and we are live. We are back. Welcome back to Talk It Up. Today's guest, Mathew Castillo, my brother.
How y'all
you been?
doing? Oh, good, man. Working, trying to stay busy, you know.
Let's start this thing off right because we're talking about the introduction, and you go by Pee Wee.
Yes, that's kind of.
But I introduced you as Mathew Castillo because I wanted you to give the story. Where did that nickname come from?
Well, I don't know. I'm a little bit older than you guys. How old are you guys?
I'm 31.
30. I'm 40. So back in the day, there was a show, Pee Wee's Playhouse, which was, some people liked it, some people didn't like it, So, and I think it was maybe first or second grade. My mom dressed me up. I want to be Pee Wee Herman. You know what I mean? I wanted to be Pee Wee Herman.
Do you remember why?
Just because I was so into the show, you know what I mean? It was one of those shows like kids get attracted to, like these kids nowadays, I don't even know what they watch, SpongeBob, but it was one of those things every Saturday morning, Pee Wee, big,
That was the show.
Yes, that was the show. And so I dressed as Pee Wee Herman, went to Walmart. Back in my time, you went to Walmart, got the little jumpsuit, mask, everything was there. So I got suited up, went to school, of course, dressed up as Pee Wee Herman. And the next day, Pee Wee, and it stuck with me ever since.
Was it like your family started calling you that first and then friends?
Not at first, but it was just mainly friends. And then I started playing sports. So, coaches started, hey, Pee Wee. And next thing you know it, my name's Pee Wee. So like you saying Mathew, sometimes people be, who's Mathew? Like even on my shirt, it says on who's Mathew? Well, that's me. My mom didn't name me Pee Wee, kind of the same thing with Gordo, Gordo got his name kind of, out of the blue. Gordo, when he was a kid, was a little short, fat kid. No disrespect to Gordo. And he was deaf and stuff. And the doctors were like, hey, Gordo's going to be a mongoloid. He's not going to grow past 4 or 5 feet. Gordo ended up being a monster. You know what I mean?
He's what, 6'5", would you say?
6'5", yeah. I was going to say 6'3", but he's 6'5". Yeah, and Gordo ended up playing D1 ball and everything. But, he went to the special classes as a kid and stuff. And like, that was a blessing, I guess.
And he graduated with a degree too, right?
Yeah.
What did he graduate in?
No clue. We're that family, what I mean? Some people be bragging, oh yeah, my brother got a degree and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, Gordo graduated?
In this day and age, it's just graduating is an accomplishment.
Yeah.
And a lot of jobs will hire you if you have a degree, regardless of what the degree is in.
Yeah.
But that's pretty cool, man. I know your brother, but I don't know him that closely, but I know him through basketball. Yeah. But I know that he was like the guy, like even in middle school. I remember
your guys' age, right?
Yeah. Like one of my foster brothers, Patrick Nieto, was my foster brother.
Yes.
And he was like, you got to see this dude Gordo play, man. He played for Lynn.
Yeah.
And I didn't see him until a summer league at Cruces High when I played ball there. And I was like, oh, because everyone talked about him. Like, he can't be that good.
Yeah. You know how it is. That's how I know who's Gordo.
Right, he's good. Oh, he's a baller, man. He was so good.
You know what's funny how you say that? Because, I've been in Mershite leads and other thing. And while Gordo was playing with the Aggies, you got those certain people. Oh, your brother don't be deserving to play with the Aggies. And blah, until he.
Someone told you that?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people. I mean, people you wouldn't believe. Like, and I was like, what? He's playing ball for root for him, And then Gordo, of course, finished and got in the Mershite League with us. And those same people that were talking, then they've got a taste of it and figured out. Same thing with Gus Macker. They're always like, well, Gordo, Mark, Phil, Adrian, they don't stand a chance. I mean, these dudes won like 4 or 5 in a row. Why? They know how to play together and they understand the game. It's not, But yeah, I mean, Gordo was just gifted. That's why I told my mom, what happened to me?
Well, you played for a while too, didn't you?
I played high school basketball. Coach Smith gave me the shot my junior year. Like I said, my freshman and sophomore year, I was kind of in that trouble crowd, not taking it too serious, didn't have the grades, you know what I mean? And then finally my junior year, Coach Smith was actually a PE teacher, my PE teacher. And he's like, hey, man, come try out. I see a little bit of talent. And I was like, whatever. And then one of my buddies, Zach Nelson, he was like, man, just come try out. And I did. I made the team. And so I played my junior and senior year. I mean, I didn't get that much playing time, but and I remember just love being on that bench and being, the voice of the team and but people would say, I was thinking in my mind, should I quit? But I stuck it out and, coach gave me a couple minutes and man, when he put me in there, I wasn't looking nowhere. I'm going straight to, I'm getting a point, a rebound or something.
Yeah, I'm making the most out of my minutes.
Yes.
I feel you, man. No, yeah, that's, I knew that you had played for a little bit, but you said that you're 40.
Yeah.
So I'm 30. So you're 9 years ahead of me.
Yes,
I was in middle school, if not elementary school.
And then people still, they're like, well, you're younger than Gordo. No, I'm 10 years older than Gordo. You know, that's my baby brother, you know. But they look at Gordo, this big old dude. They think, well, he's the oldest, right?
Did you know that Gordo was going to be good at basketball when you were younger?
Dude, yes. You know what's funny is because everyone always asks me that. And I'm like, so I was in high school, like I said, playing basketball. Junior, Brandon Hawkins was dating my sister. So he was always at the house too. Of course, B-Hawk. Everyone hung out at my mom's house, you know? Mm-hmm. So we would be out there playing on a trampoline, playing basketball or being, and Gordo was, man, in like third grade out there shooting, and we were rough on him. And then 2 years later, fifth grade, I mean, he just really, me and my buddies were talking like, man, Gordo's going to be something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I knew right off the bat, just from seeing him play and the way he was, I was like, this kid's going to go somewhere. You know what I mean? And then once he hit middle school, you could just see the improvement. And then what really got me is when Coach Smith threw him in as a freshman, you know? They were playing, and I mean, he was just on point. And I was like, wow. Like,
they had a good team that year, his sophomore year too. He had some good teams now that I think about it, all 4 years.
All 4 years.
Because just the transition of those really good guys when he was young, when they moved on, and then he became the older person. But then his same age group, like Money and Buzz, and then these guys that all played with him.
Yeah, well, you know, Money was one that I think we would have had, but, you know, people in school, they don't get it. You know, he wasn't going to class or whatever, but he didn't play. You know, they would have really been a dominant squad that probably could have won 2 or 3 state championships.
Well, that's why you got to give Gordo so much more credit, because you mentioned earlier, like him struggling in classes. He was shorter. Not only did he ball out, he also got the grades and then also graduated college. That's pretty impressive. Yeah, and it shows you there's so much more to a whole athlete than just being really good at a sport,
big
right?
Time. And I got a good experience with it. I mean, despite the time I got arrested, you know, I was acting wild at the WAC tournament, ended up in jail.
Did you really?
Oh, man, it was a boy. First day in Vegas, my parents are like, look, we're going to watch Gordo play in the WAC tournament. Just behave.
Is this like his freshman year?
I'm thinking maybe his sophomore. Yeah, okay. Sophomore or junior year, but the WAC tournament was in Las Vegas. You know, I was on if people who know me, you know, I had my issues with alcohol, drugs, which we could get into later or whatever. But yeah, you know, they're just like, we're going to Vegas. As a matter of fact, they didn't even let me go with them. They're like, I had to write up with my hand and knuckle. You know what I mean?
You got to make your own way here.
Yes. They're like, you get here, whatever. So, you know, my parents, now that I remember, they were coming the day after.
Okay.
The day I got there. So the day they got there, they find my aunt and uncle. They're like, where's Pee Wee? He got arrested last night. And in Vegas, Clark County, this jail is so packed.
Wait, you got arrested before the game?
Before the game.
You didn't even make it?
Dude, I wasn't even there 4 hours and ended up in jail.
All right, let's hear it. What happened?
Know what I mean? So, yeah, I'm sitting at a poker table, you know, drinking. Of course, drinks are free if you're gambling. Everyone knows that in Vegas. To me, at the time, you know, I'm gambling 50 cents, trying to act like I'm a baller. Bring me another Crown and Coke. You're acting a fool, you know, getting as drunk as I can. Because in my head, I'm thinking I could drink high class here. They're not going to charge me. I'm going to give this girl $1. Whatever.
And you get braver when you're in a different city.
Big time.
Because you're like, I'm never going to see these people again.
Yes, exactly. So next thing I know, there's some guy next to me, you know, and I can't remember what happened. We just started arguing. Next thing I know, shit's flying everywhere and poker chips are flying, tables flying, and I'm going to jail. They're like,
wait, fill me in though. Did you attack him? He attacked you? Were you taking his money?
I can't remember exactly what I think.
Because of those free drinks.
I think I turned around, and when I turned around, I bumped him with my drink. And that's when he kind of got more aggressive. Like, hey, what the fuck? You spilled the drink on me. You know how it is when you bump into somebody and you spill, oh, my bad. And I think he remember he said something smart, and I knocked off his chips or some shit. Like, fuck you. You know what I mean? And next thing I know, security was already on me. They're like, God. So yeah, and I think I started giving them lip, and I could barely even remember. I was so drunk. I was already partying 2 nights before here in Cruces. You know, it was one of those
the pre-party to the party.
Yeah, dude. And yeah, I ended up in jail. And the thing with Clark County, you know, I had the money to bond out and everything, but that jail is so big, the process takes like 48 hours.
I'm sure it or
not. It's like,
I'm sure their jails are crazy in Vegas.
Dude, I was on the one that you see on TV. You know what I mean? They sit you in those big old chairs on the side, and
like a DMV waiting room, like to get into the prison or the jail.
It's like, what is going on here? And then they get mad at you. Don't be looking at the girls. Well, man, she's 2 feet away from me, and Yeah.
So how long were you in there?
I was in there for, I think, a day and a half. And then finally, my belt posted, they're like, hey, we're here to do your paperwork now. You're out here. They walked me down this hallway and just let me out this little back door. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
At the time, I didn't have a cell phone or nothing. I was doing bad, like I said. You know what I mean? And I just started walking down the strip, seeing the big buildings. Oh, yeah, they're just right down the road. Next thing I know, dude, 3.5 hours later, didn't know where. I was in down, what's that other, the old strip or whatever?
Yeah, like Fremont.
Yes. Yeah. I was down there, just lost, dude. And anyways, started drinking again. And I mean, people are going to laugh at this, you know? So I make my way to the game. They're playing Boise State championship. You know what I mean?
Oh, so you do make it to the game.
I make it to the last game.
Okay.
The last game. I missed the first one and the second one that they played because I think it was 3 games, which the third one was to go to. I can't quite remember, but. So
you made it to the last one.
Yes, I know they're playing Boise State. And so, yeah, I show up to the game, of course, drunk. You know, I'm drunk. Boise State has their student section going off because they're kicking the Aggies' ass.
They have a crazy student section.
Dude, that's what people don't get. And they were talking. So me being stupid, you know what I mean? I walked down there, started another fight, all kinds of shit. The security was cool. They're like, look, just go sit. So next thing I know, I'm arguing with Coach Marvin Menzies' wife, and it's not good. And my mom's like, dude, do you know you were arguing with the head coach's wife?
Yeah.
Like, for God's sake, what are you? I was like, no, that's his wife? I thought she was just a random fan because she's like, she was just trying to calm the situation down.
Yeah.
Hey, you need to chill out. You know, and I'm just going, who the f-? Next thing I know, Gordo's like, hey, man, come next season. Coach saying you're going to have to sit a little further up there, up top.
Nosebleeds.
You know? I'm like, I got it. You know what I mean? But,
yeah,
man, it was good times there. You know, I got to go see him play at Duke, which was a trip when Reggie Theus, well, he was supposed to coach, but yeah, Reggie Theus set up a game with Duke and Louisville instead of playing UTEP and UNM twice.
And where did they play? Where was that game at?
That game was at Duke.
Oh.
And Cameron Indoor. Oh, man, me and Brandon were in heaven.
Duke is in South Carolina, North Carolina?
North Carolina. Well, when I went out there, I didn't know that Wake Forest, North Carolina, and Duke they're within like, miles. They're just boom,
I didn't know that either. Boom. I knew that Duke and North Carolina were close. I didn't know about Wake Forest.
Yeah, Wake Forest. It's North Carolina, NC State, Wake Forest, and Duke. They're just all right there, like within 5. It's weird, like 5 to 10 miles or something like that. Just on the other side of the freeways, you know what I mean?
Those are all powerhouse schools.
All powerhouse. You get off one ramp, there's North Carolina. Go a little mile down, there's Duke. It's like, what?
That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool that you got to go do that, though.
Yeah, it was fun, you know, and that is where I really tripped out because, you know, I was expecting Duke, a big old, man, that thing's like a high school gym. Little tiny gym.
They just get wild. You know, it looks small when I watch because the camera angles kind of throw you off a bit.
Yes.
But I saw one that was zoomed out a bit, and I remember thinking it was kind of small.
If you get time and you Google like the inside of Cameron Indoor, you're going to look at it and be like, I think Centennial High Gym's bigger than that.
So is the school itself pretty small too?
No, the school's beautiful. Everything's like castled, you know, rock. Mm-hmm. But it's just, I can't remember there's like a little thing it says why it's so little, but I know for some games, I was talking to this dude, and he had been going to Duke for 3 years, never even been in there. He was trying to buy my ticket. I'm like, dude, I was willing to sell it because I'm like, hey, I'm in North Carolina, no money, but I was on will call. You know what I mean? That means that I got to show my ID to get in. And so he was breaking it down to me that for them to get in, students, they do this thing like for certain games where you put your name in this big old spool, like a bingo thing. You know what I mean? And
so you have to like win the lottery to even get a chance at a ticket.
Yes, to even beat.
That's so strange, man. What a big school to have such a small gym, man.
Yes.
You would think they're leaving some money on the table.
So they have this, I think it's called Krzyzewski Field. And so all the kids before the game, they'll go out there and sit in that field and hope their name gets drawn. So they're just out there turning it. Rob Miller, you're going into, wow, you know what I mean?
That's wild, man.
It's crazy, dude. I was like,
I never knew that.
Freaked out about that because it's so tiny. But then too, you got to remember boosters and all those people are more get in there first before, you know.
Yeah. There's some big time people, celebrities go to those games.
Oh
man.
Yeah, dude. You get a chance to check it out and really look inside the gym and pictures. You'll realize what I'm talking about. It's tiny.
Do you ever? I have a question for you, and you can answer however you want. Because you told me the story about being in Vegas and missing the first 2 games and stuff like that. And I only ask you this because I know that you're sober now. Do you ever look back and think about like moments you might have missed out on, like that one maybe?
Oh man, so many times.
Really?
So many times, you know, it's like, I think back, what was I doing? You know what I mean? But at the time, like, people, they don't realize, like, when I went to the rehab, I started really learning, no offense to nobody who drinks or nothing, you know what I mean? I'm not a dry drunk, but I started learning that when you're drunk like that, so waking up, drinking and doing, you just don't realize you thinking everything's Crimsons and Clover. My life is normal, perfect. But like you're saying, now that I'm sober, now I'm like, damn, there's times where I wanted to see that. Now I can't go back and see Gordo, you know what I mean, perform like he would. And it's never going to happen. But.
So let's rewind a little bit, because you mentioned being in rehab, and I've been in rehab as well. And I've talked about it on this podcast. So tell me about that. How long ago was it, and what happened?
My story. Okay. So what happened with me, back, I would say from, Gordo's, what year did you guys graduate?
08. Well, he was, I think he's the same exact year as me. So probably 08 as well.
08. So Gordo probably graduated college in 2012, I would say. Finished it. Didn't graduate at that time, but finished it. So I'm thinking, it's about between 2010 and 2000. I was just getting in trouble. You know what I mean? I had picked up a charge for the couch. I had took a couch from Ashley Furniture. I was working there at the time, which, you know, not thinking, you know what I mean? I'm thinking there's a couch, I could get away with it, which I was, you know what I mean? Which I regret. And anyways, I took the couch. Next thing I know, I was indicted, you know what I mean? In trouble. I was supposed to be reporting on probation or whatever. Never went. Never went. So I had gotten pulled over for my taillight. They arrested me, of course, because I had the warrant, took me in. And I was in there, I think, maybe 6 months just in the county jail. And then finally they let me out. They're like, okay, we're going to put you back on probation and this and that. You got to comply. So I was complying with them. But dude, I was just failing. You know what I mean? Dirty UA after UA, not complying what they wanted with community service. Because I don't know if you've really been on felony probation or whatever you want to call it, but you know, they're pretty strict about you doing your community service. If they assign you to a class or something, you got to be on it. It's a violation. And I ignored it. So I ended up getting in some trouble. You know what I mean? Some more. And petty shit. You know what I mean? Nothing massive to where I was out just like, for example, I got pulled over. I was in possession of a controlled substance. Shit like that. You know what I mean? 2 or 3 of us, finally, they're like, look, you're going to have to do some time. You know what I mean? So I ran. I ran, dude. I had been on the run, I think, until my daughter was born. And that's when I was like, you know what? This is when I started snapping. I actually, I was talking to this guy that I was locked up with, and this guy was a big old prison dude. You know what I mean? Deep into he's like, what are you doing here? He's like, what are you doing in jail? You got a good family. Your brother plays ball. I mean, what's your purpose here? You know what I mean? Like spitting knowledge to me, something that I'd never really heard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like telling me the potential. I was doing work duty in there, you know? And so anyways, I got out. I posted bond. My girlfriend at the time got me out. And dude, I just was violating again. And then so finally, like I said, the little one was born. And I just told myself, look, you can't be that dad that's going to get arrested 5 or 6 years later when your daughter's already of age and knowing. So I turned myself in. I called the probation. I said, hey, I'm ready to go to jail. You know what I mean? What do I have to do to take care of my situation and whatever's going on? So, you know, she was like, well, come in here, blah, blah, blah. So I suited up, you know, 5 pairs of boxers. People who've been to jail, they know the routine.
Double
6
up,
pairs of
triple
socks.
up.
Yes. So I went in there, of course, you know, I just had a little girl, you know what I mean? Hearts racing. And so they're like, well, you're facing 6 years just from being on the run, you know, and a bunch of shit. And like I said, I went back to my cell, and next thing I know, the next day, the district attorney, they offered me a plea. They're like, well, we could give you 2 years. You know what I mean? Right away in my mind, I'm like, where do I sign? I'm guilty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I would have fought it, went to a jury, they're going to find me guilty regardless. A jury's you go to a jury trial, that's 80% of your time. So I probably would have done 4 to 5 years. You get what I'm saying? Instead of the 18 months I did.
So you knew if I go to trial, I'm going to be guilty.
Yeah, because you go to trial, that's when they start throwing it out. Trial, the district attorney is going to throw everything. They have videotape, the evidence they have on you of what you did, etc. You know what I mean? For any any case, you know what I mean? And I was guilty. So I'm like, I'm not going to go to a jury trial and try to fight it when I know I'm in trouble. So what am I going to do? 6 or 2 years, you know what I mean? So I got lucky and did 18 months and they were going to ready to let me out. You know, of course I had to talk to a person. I'm like, I want to see if I could go to a rehab. You know, I'm not ready. I still feel.
So you started looking into this while you were in jail still?
While I was in jail still. You know what I mean? So I was like, I need help. I'm an addict at the time. You know what I mean? I was doing meth, drinking heavily, shit that going downhill, you know, going downhill big time. And I mean, fast. I had been hospitalized in 1 year, I think 93 times. You know what I mean? And I still got the papers and stuff that remind me of that, those times. You know what I mean? I look and I'm like, dude, like you said, I'm thinking back, what was I doing? Yeah. And I would end up there, my pancreas would get inflamed. I don't know if people know too much about the pancreas, but the pancreas is like a little thing behind your stomach. It can't be, people always told me, why can't you get it removed? You can't, it's impossible. You know what I mean?
So why is it getting inflamed? Because of the drinking?
Because of the drinking.
Okay.
The drinking. And it would come and go. Like I could drink for 5 months and not feel it, but I could drink one night and feel it. Would just, depending how much it could take. And dude, it's the most horrible pain ever. When you get to the hospital, you can't eat, drink nothing. You're on an IV because you can't afford that thing inflame. If your pancreas, I like to explain it to people. It's like the thing that's inside of a deer when you kill it. Mm-hmm. You know, when you kill a deer and you're cutting it and gunning it, they're like, don't hit that little thing by its heart. Cause if you hit that poison thing.
I've never killed a deer.
Anyways, if you kill,
but if I do, I'll stay away from that.
If you kill a deer, people who know, you know, from hunting, when you cut it open and are gutting it, there's this little thing that if you cut, it's gonna leak this toxin and it ruins all the meat. Basically, what your pancreas is, that little thing explodes or erupts, you're done.
So your pancreas is essentially detoxing all the crap you put in your body.
Yes, you know, and I still feel it at times. Not a sharp pain as that, where I have to take Pepto-Bismol, maybe a Tylenol or two. I fucked it up. It's done. You know.
So you knew in jail you already had this issue. You were getting out, and was it your idea to look into rehabs? I talked
to my mom, and then I'm like, you know what, Mom, I need help. You know what I mean? They seen it, they know, you know. So a rehab accepted me. It's called Hoy Recovery in Espanola, and I ended up in there for 4 months. I sat there, and I got out, and I've been sober ever since. Something, I don't know what.
How long were you in there?
4 months.
4 months?
120 days.
And Hoy Recovery is a residential treatment center for the people listening. So it's like you live there.
Yes, you live there. It has a woman's side and a male side, and it's real structural. You know, you wake up at 6, you're going to classes all day, and you have your bedtime a certain time at 8:30. And, you know, it's real. And, man, something, I don't know what it was, just sparked me in there.
Yeah.
I was in there, and I'm like, you know what? I'm tired of this life. I'm better than that. You know, because I would always have people tell me, Pee Wee, your work ethic is a little bit different. I got ADD. If you know me, I'm bouncing off the walls everywhere. So, yeah, dude, I got out, and I started painting with my cousin, you know, painting. And I was still on probation, of course. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't come out. And, so probation, you know, they're like, hey, man, you need to find a normal job showing income. They don't want you getting paid under the table. You know, they want everything done by the rules. So, I ended up working for this landscaping company that I work for now. And, you know, I went in there and been there tearing it up ever since. I know I post a bunch of shit, so I know several people. I've seen our work and stuff like that.
Yeah, you guys, you're showing me some, and I've seen some just on my own. You do good work.
And people are always asking me, so that's your company or what? And I'm like, no, I got people that work for me. You know what I mean? So is what's really going on now that we could talk about it. So I work for the Green Lizard Company, which is the one you see with the fake grass, all the landscape and stuff like that. I got my mom's house getting demoed stuff right now and things like that. Those are my guys that work for me while I'm at work. So while I'm at work, I got a crew working for me, taking care of business out here. You know what I mean? And people tell me, like, even my boss, I'm like, hey, man, I'm done. I'm done. I'm good on my own.
Yeah.
Oh, you ain't going nowhere. Well, here's a little raise. You know what I mean? I'm the only person I know, like, I went back to work. They're like, you got COVID and I heard you got a raise. Oh, I don't know how that happened. But you know what I mean? But like,
well, you worked hard. That's how it happened.
And the thing is, man, I'm not saying I'm the best. I'm the baddest. But I mean, you get me out there and work, I'm going to do some damage.
Well, I think you glossed over something real quick, and I noticed it, if you don't mind. I was, because you mentioned the rehab and you talked about getting out and I can hear it in your voice and I can hear it when you talk about stuff. What you do have is a work ethic. You actually are, you even earlier when you were telling me that certain clients will tell you, hey, are you sure you can do this?
Yeah.
Like when you're putting together stuff and you're like, dude, watch how it comes out. And you show me some videos. It looks amazing. I think that's what it is. I think if I had to guess, I don't know, but it sounds like maybe in rehab you found,
but that's what
the way that you were an addict about drugs and alcohol, you're like, I can be an addict about learning how to do these complicated things.
That's what I was going to get back to. So in the rehab, I had already know how I had been working for a landscaping company for Water Smart Landscaping with my buddy Joshy Barvo, Alex Petermeyer, before I was getting in trouble. You know what I mean? I was working and getting in trouble, I should say.
But you had a history with it beforehand. I already had
the history. So when I got to the rehab, it's all farm out there. You know what I mean? So my first thing was like, how do I get on this work crew? You know?
Yeah.
And so I was out there, and the counselor would always tell me, he's like, Mathew, maybe this is something you could substitute out for the alcohol. Because I guess the way they broke it down to me, the alcohol, like I'm saying with my ADD and anxiety, that was what was mellowing me out. But I was abusing the shit. So I'm like, well, would it mellow me? I just had so much anxiety. I think I learned how to use it out on the work field instead of drinking.
So you just replaced your addiction.
I replaced my addiction.
Yeah.
Exactly. You nailed it right there.
Well, I fully believe that because I can relate to it. And I also, in my job now, I work specifically with people in recovery from drugs and alcohol. And that's what it is. I'll get asked a lot, like, how do I get over this? And I'm like, you kind of have it in you to be this way. It's just, what is your thing?
Yes.
And maybe replace what you're doing with something healthier. And it could be anything. It could be drugs. It could be maybe someone that's eating bad food, replace it with good food.
Yes.
It could be someone that's overweight, replace it with working out. Someone that's addicted to watching shows. Have you tried getting out in your community and playing a sport?
Yeah.
It's anything, right? You kind of replace it with something healthier.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. Kind of like with me, you know what I mean? I just replaced it with working. It was called my coping skill.
Yeah.
Instead of going to a cookout or family gatherings and stuff, right? When I knew myself too well. I'm like, if I get around the liquor and shit, I'm gonna relapse. Yeah. So I would just substitute it. I would go work by myself. You know what I mean? Going and doing side jobs on Saturdays and Sundays. I mean, knocking out. And that after that, man, I mean, people just started talking. I know this guy that could come do your yard in a weekend.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I would go do it, dude. And people ask, like, what are you on? Life. A little bit of marijuana, I'm not going to lie, but I mean, this is what I'm doing, you know?
They call it California sober. That's what they call it whenever you use marijuana to get off something else, which has been proven to really work.
You know what's funny? It's because the rehab suggested that to me. They're like, why don't you I would smoke marijuana, but at the time when I was drinking and doing meth, it was just maybe a couple of blunt here or there, but my main focus was on that meth pipe and alcohol.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the weed wasn't really, whatever, let me have a hit. You know, I wasn't worried about that. But when I got out, like I said, they referred me to, so it was crazy. I got my medical card actually in there. So right when I got out, my medical card was already ready. You know what I mean? So on the probation, they couldn't really do nothing about it. If you're on a medical card on probation, it's not considered a dirty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you don't have one, it is a dirty. So I was smoking on probation the whole time. And that's when I was just like, man, after I think the first 8 months, I'm like, I really don't need alcohol. Like I was one of those guys who lived off of it. I'm going to a game, I got to drink. I'm going to the grocery store, I got to have a beer. I'm walking to my mailbox to get the mail, I got to have a beer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In my mind, I thought the beer that was my life, man. It was sad to say, you know?
I don't think it's sad to say, but I get what you're saying. I think that you do a good job of talking about it, which is important.
Yeah.
And also it shows people that, hey, like regular ass people go through some tough shit and they have to learn just the same way we all have to learn how to do hard things. And so I appreciate you even talking about it, man.
Yeah,
it's impressive.
I'm real open about it. You know what I mean? Like I've talked to people that are like, man, you're just throwing out there that you did meth like nothing. Some people are trying to, it's because I'm not scared to say the life I was living. You know what I mean? Because some people don't get how, I mean, family, and I'm sure you know some of my immediate friends. I mean, from where I was at, scrounging for money from my ashtray to try and make a living to where I'm at now.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe. So, I mean, I tell people I'm living proof of it. If I could do it at this age, you're barely 19 or 20. You still got a long life because I try to talk to the youth community. You know what I mean? Kids who are in jail, like now in juvenile centers and stuff that are getting out and thinking, oh, my life is done. No, you're 18. You still got a chance to go to school and do more. I said, look at me. You know what I mean? Look how I'm doing now.
Yeah.
And you know what? One of them told me, he's like, man, sometimes they've never been told they can do it. They're used to hearing, oh, you can't make it. You're not going to, that's the life they live. So
do you think that you heard that a lot back when you were drinking and doing stuff a lot?
Oh man, I've had people tell me, and this is what's crazy, man. I was talking to a buddy about it today. It's the way it works is everybody being Pee Wee, do better for yourself. Stop drinking. You're going to die. You know what I mean? Do better. But now that I'm doing better, the same certain people are like, oh, this dude's a prick. He thinks he's a rich. I'm like, I'm the same old person, man.
You can't really please everyone, huh? It's weird how that works, though. People will do that. This is a sign, and I learned this doing YouTube videos and stuff. You can't please everyone. There's no way. And the same people that tell you you're drinking too much will be the same people, not always, but they'll be the same people telling you like you're not fun to be around because you don't drink anymore. Yes. Oh, I wanted to invite Pee Wee, but we're all drinking and I want to be weird, so I'm not inviting him. It's like you can never really please everyone.
And that's
what do you guys want from me?
That's what I was telling you. You could ask anybody, you know what I mean? I'm not a dry drunk. If I'm going somewhere or there's going to be people coming to hang out with me, or I've been playing cornhole a lot. When they come to play, I have beer there from. It just wasn't for me. I was ending up in jail. I mean, ending up in the hospital dying. You know what I mean? It's like, so when people say, why did you quit? And I had to. I was, like I said, getting in jail or ending up dead. You know what I mean? It wasn't for me.
Yeah.
I don't know how to have drink socially. And people still tell me to this day, have one or two. That's where I'm like, I'm scared to. I like what it does to me.
Yeah.
Like they told me in the rehab, you like the way you feel on alcohol. You don't like what it does for you. You wake up hungover. You wake up hurting. You like that sensation. Like, oh, alcohol takes everything away.
Yeah.
Everything. When you're drunk, you ain't got to worry in the world. You know what I mean?
You get braver. You get more talkative.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like an eye opener, man. And I look and I think, man, I was that dude. You know what I mean? I was thinking, next year I'm going to get a job and nope, ain't happening. Back in jail.
You know what's weird though is you're kind of the same guy. Like you're just as talkative, you're just as funny, you're just as social.
That's what everyone trips out. They're like, you're still the loud thing.
Yeah.
I mean, even maybe a little bit funnier when you're not drunk.
Well, I think that would be interesting to dive into. And I don't know if you've thought about it at all, because they say a lot of times when people overdrink or whatever their choice is, it's because they're hiding or running from something.
Yes.
And sometimes that's true. I don't know. Like with my own struggles, everyone needs to tell me that. I think what it is I was just misguided as a kid. I didn't have a father. I didn't have someone telling me what's right or wrong. And I didn't value myself. So I don't even look at my own and think that I was masking something because, again, I'm just as social when I'm not drinking.
Yeah.
I think it was just, it was definitely a booster when it came to confidence, for sure, especially around girls. I got drunk for the first time in high school, and it was the first time I got a girl interested in me the same night. Because I was all like, whoa, like confident, just like, get my number, girl.
That gave me the motivation. I need to drink to get the babes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's like, this works out. Everyone likes me better. Like it was just like, and then it just spiraled out of control kind of thing. But I have way more control of it now. But when I honestly look back and try to figure out what it wasn't like it is for most people. For me, I wasn't really running from anything. I think I was more so just trying to fit in. And now that I feel fine and care less about fitting in, I drink way more responsibly and I can have different moments and I can go months without drinking and be fine.
Yeah.
But it's just weird. Have you dove into yourself and thought about what it was for you that because you kind of know what got you out. You kind of know who you are today. Do you even know what got you into that in the first place?
I don't. And like people, I didn't come from a bad family or nothing. You know what I mean?
Your family's really nice.
To where I could say, oh, I didn't have a mom or dad and I was on the street. So it was like, I don't know, man. I think, like I said, I had those first couple of tastes and I've always been an over abuser. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Instead of having 6 or 7 beers at a party and then afterwards it just didn't stop. You know what I mean? So I don't know if I liked it or like I'm saying, I didn't really have an excuse to say like, oh, I need to drink. My life's miserable. I don't have a vehicle. You know, it was never nothing like that. And a lot of times, people do drink because of those situations.
Yeah.
You know, I got a bad family, my kid, it was nothing like that. So I still can't figure out why I was so abusive with the stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I didn't get it. Being at the bars every night, waking up broke, back at work, hurting. It's like, dude, your paycheck's gone.
Yeah, it's not a fun feeling,
You work
man.
2 weeks to spend it at Hurricane Alley? You know what I mean?
I remember, and I've told a few stories in this podcast, so I'll try to avoid the ones I've already told. But I remember struggling so much for money, and I did this. This specific story was about Black and Mild Cigars. This is how poor I was. I was staying at my friend Lloyd's house. Yeah, Lloyd. Me and Lloyd were living together. He was working. He had a good job. That guy's
Lloyd's always been straight.
He's always been disciplined, man. And we would go out and party and stuff, but I was way on a different level than him. And Hector was there at the time too. And when we lived together, Hector would be over at his house, Lloyd would be off, and I'd be by myself. And I really wanted to smoke. And I would literally just go through the couches. And I knew I needed it was like 95 cents for a Black and Mild.
Yeah.
And I think it came out to like $1.07 with tax. And so I would literally try to get exactly enough. But then, so I would oftentimes, you could find $1 in anyone's couch.
Yeah.
And so I'd find the change for it. But then I didn't have a car. And so from that trailer out there, remember where it was?
Yeah.
I used to run the desert. So I'd find money. Sometimes I would be drinking like during the day.
Yeah.
So I'd be kind of drunk, find money, and then I would run in the middle of the day in this hot ass desert just to get to that Shorty's, just to buy a cigar. And then I would smoke it on the way back. And then by the time I got to the house, it was gone. I'm like, what did I do that for?
Yeah. That's exactly.
But the things we'll do to get the things we crave, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, you're like, I went all that way and struggled.
And now I'm home and I don't even have the cigar anymore.
Yeah. It's like, man, I totally get that. I mean, dude, I was bad at times too, where I feel what you're saying too, where I would be up all night from the meth and shit. Everyone's asleep, of course. And of course, when there's no more beer, I was walking out, finding whatever I could to pour in a cup. And and then I would wake up the next day like, what the fuck were you doing?
It's wild.
It's crazy.
It's crazy what you'll do when you have a feeling like that. But it kind of differs from who you are as a person, because had it not been those things, like it's not something I normally would have done, as I'm sure it's not something you would normally have done. But it's just like, it's a weird kind of thing like that, where you're just like, you'll go out of your way to make something happen.
For nothing.
Which is probably why you're such a hard worker now. Like, because that part's probably already been embedded in you. You just didn't know how to use it the right way.
About it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's what my boss tells me. He's like, man, you're all over the place. Well, is that a good thing or bad? You know what I mean?
What do you want from me?
It's a good thing. He's like, no, it's a good thing, but I try to relax. And I'm like, all right, I got to sometimes too understand, like, the other guys, nobody's moving. I'm almost thinking in my head, how can you not do that? You know what I mean? But I'm just active, you know what I mean? Not everybody's ADD like me, bouncing off the walls, and sometimes I find myself getting fussy, like, well, they should have already done that.
Yeah.
And I gotta catch myself and be like, hey, not everybody's off the wall like you.
People just operate differently.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And that's one thing I need to really, really work on, even with my own family. With my poor dad, man, he wanted to make some extra cash, hey, bring me out here to work on a weekend. I'm like, all right, let's do it. You know what I mean? I'm going to hook him up.
Yeah.
I was getting some decent cash on the side, and man, dude, I had him out there wheelbarrowing rock. I swear there's one time I looked and I'm like, oh man, he just dripping. The poor dude was just trying to keep up. You know what I mean? I'm like, hurry up. Move. Because in my head, I'm used to me moving at that speed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I got to understand, my dad's about to hit 70. I had him out there in the dead heat wheelbarrowing, and even one of my friends had to tell me, they're like, hey, dude, your dad looks like he's about to croak. Fuck him, he's good, move fast. But yeah, dude, I caught myself, hey, he's right. He can't be wheelbarrowing that rock as quick as you're going to do it. You know what I mean? And yeah, the poor dude couldn't move for 3 days, man.
We all have like different speeds in the way that we operate. So it's a good thing though, like to be able to do exactly what you said, which is, oh, I get it. Because we don't always get it the first time, but for you to sit back and go like, oh, wait a minute, I operate like this. So I would have had A, B, and C done already. He's still on A, but he's also not me. I need to approach this in a different way.
And then me too, it's a weekend on a side job. I'm trying to be in and out. I'm not on nobody's clock. So you know what I mean? I'm trying to get the job, get it done right, and get out of there. Work-wise, I'm going to milk as many hours as I can. I hope my boss don't see this, but you know what I mean? It is what it is. There's a different scenario to the thing,
Yeah.
And I was over there trying to make him hurry up. I need to be off by 2. It's Saturday. I'm trying to, my poor dad, man, he's like, never again. Oh, I ain't going to work with you no more. I was like, okay. Then I caught myself doing it with my little nephew. I was like, man, this kid's a little kid. He's 14, But yeah. So like you're saying, I need to learn how to control certain things. And
well, it sounds like you're already doing it a little bit. And I have the same issue where I just think that things should be like, well, this is how I experience it. This is how I've done it. So this is the way it is. But I started learning like the world is so diverse. Like things work better if you try to figure out the other person instead.
Yeah.
And just go. And that's what makes a good leader, right? Instead of going like, this is the way it's done. It's how do you do things? And how could I use what I know to help you the way you do it better? Yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
And I kind of put it in that way.
Good point. And it's kind of like with the sport, if you're the best player, you expect your teammates to be as good as you. It's like, hey, I can't shoot as good. But in your head, you're thinking, oh man, why ain't you hitting that shot? It's like, hey,
kind of have to, you have to know your surroundings, know your people, and just try to bring out the best in the other person. I thought of a story, and it was kind of off one of your original ones, and I thought it was so random. It's like in my head, so I got to get it out.
Let it out.
There was a time in my life, man, because I started thinking back to like when I was drinking a lot, and I used to drink Four Locos a lot.
Oh my God. Lot.
And because they were so cheap. Again, I can come up with $5-6 and get two of them. Get wasted, bro. Like 12% alcohol.
Yeah.
You get jacked up. So I hung out with this group of people, and they were. So with me, I mentioned I've been to rehab and stuff, and some people may have heard this on a previous podcast. I haven't done a lot of stuff. I drank a lot. I've never done anything really hard. Like I did X for a while, like a little bit, but I've never done anything too crazy. And this is how it was mostly drinking. And some pain pills at the time. That's when I went to rehab. One of my roommates had found these pain pills and stuff. But I told that story in another podcast, so I'll leave it off. But this specific group of friends, man, they, for whatever reason, like they really got into meth. And I think there was about 5 of us that would normally hang out, and there was a 6th person that came in and that was like, hey, I have some meth. And one of them's like, I've done meth. The other one's like, I want to do meth. And me, I've always been like, I'm good with my Four Locos.
Yeah.
So I would hang out with this group. Essentially, everybody in the group got really into meth and so oblivious and just being social and just really enjoying being around people. I never even once thought about doing it, but I would still hang out with them. And so we'd go over to this, like a studio apartment pretty much. And they would have their setup, and they were like getting ready to do this meth. And I'm like, I just got there, and I had like a pack of cigarettes and a Black and Mild like I was used to. And then I had my 2 Four Locos, and I would just drink while they would all do meth, and we'd all hang out still. And it would like looking back, and it was weirder. At the time, it wasn't weird at all. And I would just look around, and they would be like, just like in the chair, like doing nothing, but wide awake, but doing nothing. And I would just be sitting there drinking. And because my mind was also altered, I didn't realize how out of their minds they were.
Yes.
And so they were just all night. Obviously, I would burn out because I'm drinking, and they were just like, we got to get more meth. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to go home. And I did that for like a whole summer. I would hang out with them every night. I would get wasted, and they would do meth. And looking back on it, I'm like, why did I hang out with those people? Like, why did I do that?
Yeah, dude. I was the same way. I would regret it, like being up all night, like just stuck on my phone looking at the same shit.
Do you feel? Because I have a question. Because I noticed it with them, and I've always wondered because I've never done it. Does it make you feel like you don't want to go anywhere? Is that a part of it where you just want to stay still?
Well, see, dude, some people it hits different because being on the drug and being around the people who do it. I'm different. When I'm on it, I'm sitting in a corner, I'm smoking a cigarette, which I never do, or you know what I mean? But then you have those people who are working on it. They're doing jobs. I'm like, man, I'm trying to be indoors.
Oh, so people do use it and go to work.
I know people that
is wild.
From back in the day that would do it and they knew how do they say it? Like what would they used to tell me? I was a functional alcoholic. They're functional meth addicts.
Really? So they would just go to work.
Yeah, the only way you could tell really is by their eyes. Their eyes are, and but they were functional people on it. You could be near that dude every day, and you're doing meth. You know what I mean?
Just not know it.
Not even know it.
Yeah.
Me, I was opposite. I was that person stuck in the chair, eyes wide open. Next thing I know, 48 hours passed. It's like same clothes. I'm like, what am I doing?
Yeah. And when you would come off of it, did you like sleep a lot? Like what?
I wouldn't, dude. Like after the 2 days, I'd be like, I'm done with this shit. This is it. I don't like this. And I would maybe take 1 day off. Next morning, right back on it.
Really?
It's just after those long, hard days, you're like, oh, I'm so done with this shit. I just want to go home, eat, and but nah, man.
It's almost like the guy hungover that's like, I'm never drinking again, and then he sobers up by that night, and then he's drinking again.
Yeah, next morning he's drinking. You know what I mean? It's just
Is it hard for you to talk about this stuff? Like, does it bring you nostalgia?
All.
Okay,
I
probably should have asked first.
Yeah, because some people they're always telling me I'm telling you, you're just so open about it. Like
I got that sense, which is why I asked, but I don't want to like put you in a weird spot.
You're fine. And people say you don't get those cravings or ever think I'm like, man, I would never even, you could honestly put, I mean, my fantasy girls would say an actress where, you know, a girl you fantasize probably $1 million on a table and tell me smoke this meth pipe and drink this beer. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm not going to do it.
I think that works in your benefit. I can see that in you. It's almost like the red button effect.
Yes.
Where it's like, because you're able to acknowledge it, you're able to not do it. But the people that I can't be around it and I don't want to talk about it, they almost create this red button you can't push. And so it sets them up for failure later. I'm not saying that some people work well like that. Yeah. So by all means, keep doing it. But I can tell you're the kind of guy that the more you talk about it, the more you open about it, the more control you have over it.
Yeah.
And the more you're like, I'm just not going to do it.
Like you're saying, you have those people like, oh man, you can't talk about that stuff around. I'm an ecstatic, man. I feel I need to do it now because of you mentioning it. I'm different. You know what I mean? Like I said, I can go to a hangout or someplace now and, you know, take beer and alcohol and not even everybody's drinking but me.
And you're good with it.
And people are like, hey, man, just have one. But I always tell myself that one thing could be a full-blown relapse. And next thing you know, I'm back to ground zero.
There's stuff to do.
There's no way I would ever even, you know, on Christmas, just to have one taste. I'm scared. Yeah. I'm scared to even have the wine at church. You know, the little one they give you for communion. I just don't want to taste it again at all.
That's good that you know what you're capable of and where you're at. Because I think people struggle sometimes with that, where they're like, maybe, and then you're right. Friends will be like, we can have a little, right?
Yes.
And so it's like, and I believe some people could, but some people that can't, they need to know that. Yeah. And you sound like you're someone that's like, hey, I know where I'm at.
Yeah.
So you say it all you want. Like, I'm good. I'm good right where I'm at.
Dude, well, not too long ago, there was this girl. I mean, she was that girl in high school everybody wanted. Mm-hmm. Everybody wanted to be with. And, you know, I was doing some work for her and we started, you know, doing our thing. And she was an alcoholic and an addict. And I mean, almost every night she would be like, hey, man, just have one. And I said, I dropped her, man. I'm like, this.
So this is after you got out.
Yes. But it was that girl that everybody wanted. So, you know,
including you.
But in my head, after I got her, I'm like, I don't want this chick. But back in high school, I didn't even, she didn't even acknowledge me, but she was that hot chick that you and your buddies are like, oh man, there goes so-and-so again.
Yeah.
And the guy that was there, he's a lucky dude. So when I got her, I was like, oh man, this is, I
big achievement.
Gold. I hit gold.
Yeah.
But then when I got with her, she was doing I'm like, it was unattractive to me. I was like, so this girl that I fantasized for and wanted forever, it's not what I thought I wanted. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And well, especially when you're that young too, though, and people grow up, and maybe she in a different world grew up and didn't do that, right?
Yeah.
And maybe she still is that girl that you liked and everyone else liked, but is also a good person.
Yeah.
That happens. But it's crazy how much stock we put in, like when we're young. Like I relate to that. I've talked about that on a different podcast where I used to fantasize about being with the popular girl and like how much better I would treat her. And it's like you don't realize
dude,
some people that if you could go back in time and hang out with that version of you, you'd be like, bro, you don't even know what to look for in a girl.
Yeah.
Let alone like just to think that someone is the whole world.
Exactly.
Because they're pretty and they smile good. You know what I mean? But sometimes like they're not nice. I knew some girls that were super nice in high school and I paid no mind to them.
Yeah.
Because they just weren't like either the best looking or there was someone better looking that I was more interested in. And then now that I know them as adults, now that I'm more mature and it's not all like your hormones and sexual stuff, I'm like, that girl is pretty cool. Like I wish I would have even known her. She seems like a cool person to be friends with or to even just know in the community.
And you didn't
but you never would know to look for that. Yeah.
In high school, you're like, this girl was lame.
But I accidentally, there was this one popular girl. She wasn't she was the friend of the popular girl. So she was kind of popular by association, but she wasn't the prettiest girl. And she used to always make fun of me in the science class, man. And naturally being funny, I would make fun of her back, which is not good. Don't pick on girls.
Yeah.
Guys, we got to stop doing that.
And you know what? We'll get back to that.
But I did that. So I would make fun of her back and it became a thing. And there was a weird moment. And it's almost like a movie scene now that I'm thinking about it, where like she was coming out of the classroom while I was going into it one day and we weren't looking at each other. And literally like we turned and I accidentally kissed her, bro. Like just the way we turned the corner. Yeah. And it was like a moment where I was like, oh, like, it was like a weird moment. Yeah. And then she was like, oh, and I was like, oh, like it was just like a weird thing. And I'm like, screw her. And then I remember going back in the classroom. I'm like, that was kind of nice, man. Like I
really did enjoy that.
And I'm sure she did the same thing. And I don't know where she's at nowadays or I'd ask her, but it's kind of funny how like you picture someone a certain way or you have these certain values, but like You ever had a dream about a girl that you never were interested in, and then you wake up like, I think I might be interested in that girl now?
Oh, yeah. A bit like you're saying, I never acknowledged this girl, seen her, but I had a dream about her, and I'm thinking, hey, am I having the hots
she's my
for this
soulmate?
Yes, exactly, dude. Exactly, you know.
And, what were you going to say, though? We're talking about being mean to girls.
About being to girls, I try and tell my nephew. I mean, I remember in high school, too, like, that was a thing. Like, the popular dudes, I hung around the popular crew, you know, the gangster crew, whatever. But, you know, you would have that crew that would just pick on these beautiful women.
Yeah.
And, you know, of course, in high school, we didn't know. So we're laughing at it. I remember we're at a party, man. And all there, you know, like you said, you had the group of hot chicks. And my buddy just shook the shit out of a bottle and just started spraying them in the face. You know what I mean? And everyone's like, you dumb girls. But in my after now, I'm thinking that was fucked up.
Yeah.
Why? And, you know, I felt bad years after for laughing at it, you know? Yeah. So I try to preach to my nephew, them, you know, you roll out the carpets for these women, you know?
Yeah.
Because believe it or not, a lot of people, they still don't. I've seen women with single women with like 3 or 4 kids, and they just are treated like shit by their baby's daddies, man. I'm opposite. You know, me and my baby's mama ain't the best, but I mean, I'm there for her. She could call me, say, I need this, and I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give her the heart. Fuck you. You know, but you tend to see that a lot, you know, even like on Facebook and stuff, people arguing about their baby daddy not paying child support or their baby daddy can't come to the game. It's like, you know, I'm different. I want to be where my daughter's at.
And also that shouldn't be on Facebook. If you really do feel that way, then call her. Like, I don't think you should be posting that on Facebook. And DJ Black brought that up a bit, like how people do, because the kid's involved too, especially if it's over a kid. Don't put that on Facebook. That's you and that person to figure that out. Because never once in life, have you ever in life, has anyone had an issue with you and posted about it? And you're like, oh, well, since he posted about it, now I'm going to fix that. Yeah. No, it either does nothing because you don't care, or it upsets you and it starts a fight.
Pissing you off,
but it never does anything good. And so you got to leave that stuff off there.
And it's crazy, like you said, too. It's like, why is this person putting that out there?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like sometimes.
Well, I think that they think it makes them look good, but in reality, it makes you look pretty bad.
Yes.
But there always is that like kind of like group of people that will gas them up. So maybe that's what it is. They have like 2 or 3 friends like, dude, fuck her.
Yes.
And it's like, you guys, now you guys all look like idiots. Yeah.
Next thing you know, there's 30 comments of bunch of random people in your business. Like, who's this dude? I don't know, but he's commenting on our shit. You know?
It's a weird kind of like a dog and pony act where people are just trying to like get that thing. But I mean, you're right. You see certain things as adults that you don't see as a kid. I was that guy because to me, it was about being funny. I was never as crazy as like throwing a bottle on someone.
Yes.
But I've been mean and rude to people because I thought it would make my friends laugh.
Yeah.
And if I didn't have to deal with the consequences, I'm like, well, why not?
Why not? Yeah.
And I get some laughs out of it.
Everybody's laughing, joking about it. I feel I'm on top. You know what I mean?
But when you're in that age group, how old's your nephew? You brought him a few times.
I'd say 14 or 15.
Those years are so important. Some of the most traumatic moments in my life happened during those years, like the 7th grade of middle school up till senior year. Like that's when like it matters if someone makes fun of your haircut. It matters if someone says you're super white or you're not handsome or you know what I mean? Like whatever it is.
You take it personally.
It matters. And even if you don't like show it in the moment, those things later on in life make you feel a certain way and that's how you lead into the drinking or things like that. When you don't even know it, but you felt invalidated at that young age. And so it again, if I had some magical time machine, if I could go back in time with my same mindset. First of all, I wouldn't because it would change my life. But if somehow I could and I wanted to, I would just approach it differently, man.
Yeah.
I would look at everyone as a business opportunity or a life opportunity.
Yes.
This could be someone that could help me make money or be a good friend and help me out in time of need. Or this is someone that I could be with if it's a relationship thing or like just connections and like being around good people. And maybe you being nice to them helps them not be an asshole.
Yes.
Exactly. Sometimes those people you were an asshole to grew up to be an asshole to someone else.
Yes. And that's from them being picked on, you know what I mean? Now it's
they're like I have the power now.
Yeah, it's like people say, you know, not putting down the cops or nothing. A lot of times there's these cops that were picked on as kids, and now that they're cops, when they pull you over for a little normal stop,
it's the world to them.
Yes,
they're in complete control for that whole stop.
Yes, they're
for the first time in their life.
Dude, I've had run-ins with them. You know, my recent I had got pulled over going to Albuquerque. You know what I mean? Hauling ass, you know. not drinking. I had my weed in the car, everything in the car. And yeah, he pulls me over. You know what I mean? And right away, he's being a dick, dude. You know what I mean? I'm like, what are you pulling me over for? One of your lights was out. I'm like, okay, can you speed it up? Because I'm in a hurry. You can obviously tell that. And I was just trying to test him out. You know I'm not going to get arrested. I know I could get away with it. I know the law. So I'm trying to test to see how he reacts to me. You know, and oh man, right away, I pulled me out of that car, get your hands on the hood, and then afterwards I told him, what did I say wrong? He's all, it's the way your attitude is. I said, I'm loud normally.
Yeah.
Don't take it personally. But I mean, this guy pulled me out. Well, then, you know, he started going to that shit once he ran my name up. Oh, you have a prior record. Is there anything else in the vehicle that you want to hide from us or that you're hiding? I'm like, man, there's nothing but medical marijuana in here. I'm telling you what's inside the car, you know? And man, I think it pissed him off because he couldn't do nothing about it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He would just kind of hit the road and get out of here. I better not see you speeding again around here.
I don't even get that. It's so bad that I could yes sir, no sir the cop, and they always give me the goddamn ticket. And I hate it, man. I got a one recently that it was a quick thing. It was a parking.
Yeah.
I pulled in so my girl can go run into Pick Quick to get ice cream. And it was like, I was kind of in the handicap parking spot. I never got out and I never parked the car.
Yeah.
But before I could even pull back out or do anything, I got pulled. A state cop gave me, and I was being nice. And I thought that he would just go, just don't do it. You know, he gave me, and so I have court for it next month. And so, but it's just annoying because you can be rude like the way maybe you were, or you can be nice like the way I was, but it's still like sometimes you still get the tickets. I don't know what to do anymore,
and
man.
That's where I go back to this system thing, you know, like I was talking to he works with me, his name's Pascual, man. This guy like a mentor to me, you know what I mean? And he's always asking me like, well, I'm sure everyone heard about what just happened at Apodaca Park with that guy. Supposedly he had.
Well, by the time this comes out, there'll be more information.
By the time he was, I guess in 2017, he was already charged for a murder conviction or something like that. And then this happened again. So of course people are pissed. They're like, this dude has been convicted of murder already once in 2017, and he did it again on Sunday night.
Wait, how is he out though if he got convicted?
That's what I'm getting at.
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to get at. It's the way the state works. It's the system. So basically, I point the finger at them. Like the sister of the brother who got murdered before the dude did on Sunday, she's pissed. She's like, this dude that murdered my brother, you guys let him out, and he did it again. But see, that's what confuses me. So somebody had put something on Facebook about it, and that's where I put, it blows my mind that I was getting 3 years for a sofa, but this dude was convicted for a murder charge or whatever they're convicting him of. I'll show it to you in a while on my phone. And he's already been out. That's 4 years, 2017, 18, 19, 20.
But I wonder if there's more there. Was he out, or was there a technicality and he was out on?
I guess he was just
work release.
I guess he was just like out. You know what I mean? And it's the same thing, dude. I've seen, like I was saying, how I got thrown back in because of probation violation for a dirty UA. Dude, I'm on that mobile patrol to NAP who shows you people who are getting arrested every day. I've seen people on there that are on probation violations and they're in and out. In and out. There's this one guy, of course, I'm not going to say no names, but he's been in and out 4 times in the last 3 months for serious charges, robbery, car auto theft. So it's like, what is the state doing? What is New Mexico doing?
Do you think it has anything to do with COVID? Like they're letting people out because they're.
I mean, I could understand at the time when COVID was really big, but I mean, for somebody like this, I mean, obviously that guy needs help, man. I heard he was kicking that person.
Well, if that's true, and I don't know the full story, I'm just going off what you said. If that's true, and he was convicted of murder like 3 years ago, he should not be out at all.
I look at my phone again, and I think it was that way you could kind of have an idea what's going on. But man, I just
saw his mugshot, and he seemed like he was out of his mind. But then again, really most mugshots look that way. It really
blew my mind, dude. I'm like, this dude is look, it's right there. You could read a little bit of it. There's that one when he was convicted in 2017, and then that's the new one that he just did on Sunday.
So he's from El Paso?
No, that's just the El Paso, saying, you know what I mean? But the thing I don't get, even if you're hit with a serious charge like that in 2017, I did 3 years for a couch almost. How is this dude out and about on the streets just convicting crime after crime? What's the state doing? So, I mean, a lot of people are furious. Like, what's going on? And you could read on the one that the sister posted about it, and people are just blaming it on the Lujan Grisham, blame it on Ken Miyagishima. Like, who's at fault? Is it our courts? Is it thing? But I heard one thing from a person that they told me that's how the state makes their money. So a state court is going to put you on bond because that's how they're getting. The federal's different. They're going to lock you up. You know what I mean? Throw him away. He was crossing drugs around. It's because the feds, they have money. They're federal. The state, it made sense to me. So this is why they're posting bond for everyone. This is how they get their income.
Yeah.
So, you commit a crime, you post bond, the state's getting that money. So that's why
I would want to hear the full story because I agree with you. Like my immediate reaction, like I told you, I feel like there's something we might be missing though.
And there's one more thing. I mean, I can't remember the guy's name or the dude's name, but I guess he had strangled his girlfriend's baby to death. He posted a bond and that dude's been out. And people are like, how is this dude out if he killed this baby?
Well, there's definitely a discrepancy because I agree with you. I know a friend that did some drug charges and did way more time than a different friend that I know of that has a way more serious charge. And so it's just weird how it works.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it. And it kind of accepts me. You know what I mean? Not saying, okay, what I did was right. I stole sofas and got in trouble. But someone who's been in jail and in trouble, you'll look back and be like, how is this dude out when I did all this time for a damn sofa? They're labeling me a menace to society.
Yeah.
This dude's kicking heads around a park and, he's just sick. He needs help. Like, it really, really blows people's mind. So, like, people are saying, who's at fault? The NM court system? Is it the mayor? Who's making the decisions to let these repeat offenders picking up charges after charges in and out?
Yeah.
So, in a way, I feel bad for that girl of the one in 2017. I would be like, well, yeah, look what happened now. He killed another person. And
that'll be an interesting one to follow to see what facts come out.
See what really happens, but I don't blame her. It's like, well, maybe if you want to let this dude out, that wouldn't have happened Sunday night. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
They have a point,
Yeah, it's wild. I watch a lot of those shows about like murderers or people that are in jail and stuff.
On A&E, I'm on them too. Yeah,
those are easy to follow.
Yeah, I'm on them.
It's a two-way street, man. I just think that you have to know what happened because for sure the justice system's messed up. We see it all the time.
Guaranteed.
Yeah.
And it's not, I'm not saying everywhere.
There needs to be some reform.
New Mexico, it is bad. It's bad.
Even I remember a time which we're still pretty bad, but do you remember when we're like top 2 in DWIs like in the nation?
Yeah.
And I know we're still high, but we're definitely not top 2 anymore. When it was like if you did anything alcohol related, you got punished 10 times harder than any other thing.
It was like
it was wild.
That's when they started the NDWI / you know what I mean? Yeah, but you're right. It was like you drive drunk, goodbye, And the DWIs, I could understand, for first offenders getting their first DWI, it's like you got all this money in fines, jail time, and stuff like that, but somebody runs somebody over for stealing a car, it's like a slap on the hand.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I think there should be a path to redemption for anything substance related. And I'm soft about this because I work in that industry. DWI, possession is a big one. If you think about it, the person you're hurting the most, minus the DWI, right? But being intoxicated in public or possession of drugs, the most hurt person in that situation is typically you.
Yes.
Like you're the person. That should be factored in to the punishment.
Yeah.
The way that a lot of times if someone was in an accident, but they also got hurt, they get less time because they're like, oh, they've been hurt themselves.
Yeah.
So the same thing, if someone's using something or on some substance, there should be some sort of, you should incorporate the fact that they're really hurting themselves. And I'm not trying to take away from the family because we both know this. When you're drinking or using something, it impacts the family too.
Big time.
I'm just saying there should be some sort of path to redemption. And I'm not saying this for murderers or other people, but I'm saying specifically substances. If you're going to give someone a DWI, as I believe you should, if you're drinking, driving, you shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Huge risk factor there. Can't there be a path to redemption? Hey, if you do this program, instead of going to jail, right? If you do this program and complete it, and you go 2 years without having another incident, we'll get rid of your DWI or something like that. I have to come up with it. Like some sort of path that I can fix this other than my life is now ruined. I'll never have a driver's license. No one's going to hire me. Like that's a huge issue.
The thing, they take your license away. They want you to find a job. I can't even get a job without
These are all huge things that make you want to drink again.
Yes, you know what I mean?
I just think they got to be smarter.
Yes,
they got to be smarter about it.
Like you're saying, these other people, it's like, okay, so you're gonna get me for my third DWI, give me 6 months. But this dude just stole 2 cars, stabbed somebody last week, and he's free.
Yeah.
And it like you're saying, we all make mistakes when we're drinking. Okay, we hop behind the wheel, but the consequences are more severe. So in my eyes, I'm thinking I'm better off murdering somebody than driving drunk.
I get what you're saying.
You get what I'm saying?
It does create an effect where it's like, if I'm already if this gets me that, and I'm already doing this, then I can now push it to that level if I want to, because it's already going to be similar to what I'm getting now.
Exactly.
If not less.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's not a good mindset you want to set out to people.
It's not, dude, at all. And, for someone to be convicted of that's not only the charge, he had other charges of vandalizing a bunch of stuff in town. And, this is more, he's heavy on the drugs. He wasn't all there.
Yeah.
I told the court the same thing. Hey, man, I'm on drugs. I stole the sofa so I could get high. It don't matter. You're a menace to society. 3 years. Oh, okay. You know what I mean? It's like, it don't make sense, The judicial system and the thing we were talking about, what can you do about it? What are you going to do? Walk into a courtroom and be like, hey, oh, you guys are doing everything wrong. You can't just do that.
Yeah, not on that small of a scale. It has to be something bigger.
Bigger, yeah. I mean, find a bunch of people to protest. Still, you're not going to get nowhere.
Yeah, well, people protest all the time and don't get what they want. It's almost like you have to, I know this sounds bad, but there almost has to be enough incidences where they go, we got to look into this. And I know that sounds bad, but it probably, with this case, it probably won't be until a few more murders happen that they go, wait a minute, we got to look into this.
Yeah.
Sadly, that's probably what's going to be.
Dude, it's crazy. It's crazy, and like you're saying, what can you do? They're the rules. They're the law. We got to follow them,
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't get it, and I was trying to explain to that guy, what? He's like, well, Mathew, you did almost. I'm like, I'm telling you this, it's like, do they pick and choose, or is it, I don't.
Well, I think the lawyer matters too. If you have a good lawyer, you tend to get away with some stuff.
The thing is, how I know I'm not putting the person down or whatever. He was a homeless man. How is he, getting
this
by?
Guy was homeless?
The one that's already back in 2017 and now.
Yeah, see, that'd be interesting to find out some facts.
That's what I don't get,
Yeah, I can't see a scenario where that guy gets out. It has to be COVID, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get it. But I don't think this second run, I don't think he's going nowhere for what he did at the Apodaca Park thing.
So he beheaded because I don't know the full story. Is that what happened?
Yeah, from what I heard from news and everything, he supposedly the guy that he was after raped his girlfriend and stole some things. So he stabbed him and then beheaded him. Was kicking his head around like a soccer ball.
Like at the park?
At the park, Apodaca Park.
God, man.
I mean, it happened Sunday night. I was driving to work about 6:30 in the morning. They had that whole area.
Really?
Like I had to go all the way around. You know what I mean? So, it was a serious crime for our area. We don't see nothing like that,
Yeah, that's wild, man.
And, this guy had been in trouble for not the same thing he did, but a murder conviction.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, how is he out in 3.5 years? That's really crazy.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see the facts in it because that doesn't sound right at all.
And I mean, if even if you do get a good lawyer and say, okay, well, it's the state's fault for letting them out. That's why this other person died. Nothing's going to happen. You know, they're probably looking past 2000. Oh, that happened in 2017. We need to focus on this one now. Instead of saying if it was me, he's already done it once. He's done. You know what I mean? He's already been convicted. Now it's happening again. I got to lock you up, brother. I'm sorry. But it's like they don't do that. In their mind, I think they say, oh, this guy's just on heavy drugs. He needs help. Let's send him to a mental institute instead of jail.
Well, those are things they didn't do for you when you were asking for help.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, what is going on here?
Yeah, it's a weird situation. Remember Liar Liar?
Oh, yeah.
Remember the courtroom scene when he's
a lawyer or something like that? Yeah.
Yeah. There's a courtroom scene where he was pretty much saying like he needed to use the restroom and they didn't want to recess. He's like, I heard if you hold it in, and he goes off about how it can like fuck your bladder up.
Yeah.
And the judge is like, oh, in that case, we better both take a break.
Yeah.
I watched it as a kid, and ever since then, I learned like, do not hold your pee in. If you got to go, just go do it. Yeah.
And I used to be bad about that, man.
Really?
Too, where I would hold it into like where my bladder was going to explode. It's like,
I had this thing, man. it kind of, this might get a little dark, but.
No, you're good. You're good. No worries. No worries.
It reminded me of this thing, man, and talking about like trauma and stuff. And I've talked about a lot of stuff on this podcast about growing up. And kind of similar to you, like I don't mind talking about it at all. But when I was younger, so when I got taken out of my home and put in the foster care system, I moved homes a lot. There's a thing that happens where you don't feel comfortable with where you live. And so I had like a bedwetting problem, like at an older age. Like some of this even led into high school a little bit, but definitely in middle school. And I for whatever reason, it wasn't because I didn't feel safe to go is what it was. And so like I would just a lot of times in my sleep use the restroom, but at school a lot, I would be scared to ask the teacher if I can use the restroom. And so I'd start wiggling my leg and do that whole move. And one time, this was actually in elementary. It was at MacArthur, I think. We're at like an assembly. So we're all sitting down Indian style on the floor in like a cafeteria. And there was a dude on the stage. And I don't remember what was happening. And at one point, they end up playing a movie. You know, remember they used to wheel that TV in with the VHS?
Yes, that's classic, man.
They start playing a movie, and this whole time, all day, I had to pee, but I didn't feel comfortable like asking or going. So I'm just wiggling. And then I remember sitting there Indian style, and I just remember thinking like, I can't hold it anymore. And I just went like all over myself. And then like kids aren't like as keen to that stuff as adults are. Yeah. But you can tell some of the kids were looking around like someone fucking peed in here.
Yeah.
And I remember just like sitting there, and then the movie was over, and everyone started getting up, and I was so scared to get up. And because of that. And you could see it, like it had moved around me. And everyone got up. And I was like, oh, yeah, cool. Like, I'll meet you guys. Like, and it was just weird. And I remember getting up and putting my backpack, like, sagging, like, hugging it around my butt, bro. Yeah. And I was scared. And you could see it. And I didn't even go to class. I just ran outside. And it was like midday. And I just, that was my first time skipping class. I was so embarrassed. It was just weird. But it reminded me of that whenever I said that.
Yeah, no, especially as a kid, you know, you don't want to see that. But it's funny you say that, dude, because I've had a problem with that too. And I mean, it's when I was drinking, like I was maybe 22 or 23.
Well, I think drinking is a different form of it.
Yeah. Like, my girlfriend at the time would find me pissing in like the closets, the living room, and, you know, the bathroom. What are you talking about?
I think when you're drinking, it's like a lack of awareness.
Yeah. It was something, dude. But I would piss elsewhere besides the toilet. I didn't get it. But then I would be pissed the next day. Why does the closet stink like piss? Well, you were the one in there. That's your problem.
That's the bad part about drinking too much is the next day you're trying to put together all the pieces and you don't even realize you were a big piece of everything that happened.
My dad used to get pissed. You better stop fucking pissing in the... I'm like, you know, because my dad could be a scary guy, man.
Is he scary?
For some piss shit like that, you know, I'd be like, it wasn't me. It was Gordo. You know what I mean? Gordo ain't pissing in that closet. That was you. You know what I mean? I would always, man. And Gordo was a good kid. You know what I mean? Gordo wasn't really drinking in high school and shit like that. And I remember one time, I think I got busted with mushrooms and big ass bag or something. My dad found it. You know, my dad was that dad, you know, don't bring that shit in my house. You know, and
pretty strict.
Yeah, he's pretty strict, you know, and blamed it on Gordo. It's Gordo's, not mine. That's all. Gordo.
I think you owe Gordo a giant apology on this podcast, man.
Gordo,
you missed his basketball stuff.
Hey, I told him too. I said, if you watch this or end up watching it, you're gonna be on it. You're gonna be out there, and I'm gonna say something. And he's like, "Oh, fuck you, whatever." You know what I mean? Gordo's not really that type of person who's gonna be like, "Hey, I should."
Well, I feel like you've said some good stuff too, and you've taken ownership. You've been like, man,
you know, like Gordo don't get that in a way. I would be proud to tell that story. Hey, man, when I was little, they told me I'm not going to be able to do this, and this. I'm not going to grow to this certain height. And I mean, look what I did. But sometimes in his eyes, he's like, that's embarrassing. I think.
Wait, he thinks that story might be embarrassing?
Yeah. You know,
I don't think it's that embarrassing. I get how he would,
though. Like, I don't want people to know that about me. You know what I mean? I'd be like, hey, man, it's something.
I think that's because you're the big brother. Like, you're supposed to, like, he's supposed to give you some shit. You're supposed to be like, whatever.
Oh, dude, I gave him, I remember going to games, dude, and being there, get him out, man. He sucks. And fans are like, dude, isn't that your brother, Gordo? And I'm just.
And you guys look alike a little bit. So even the ones that didn't know, they're probably like, that looks like a relative.
I'm just in there drunk, yelling my ass off, get him out for missing like a shot or something, you know? And he would come and I remember, I think it was a UTEP game. I don't know what I was thinking, but I was giving him so much shit, man. And he finally snapped on me.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm tired of this shit. You know what I mean? Fuck. what the, I was like, you guys suck. UTEP's going to beat you guys. One of those things, you know what I mean? And yeah, he finally let it out. So I'm like, man, I better, Gordo's pretty big now. He might just beat the shit out of me. So I better lower my tone and kick back,
Well, either way, if he never says anything and finally does, it's probably coming from a good place.
Yeah.
Where it's like, because let's say this the honest way. I can see how you would be a difficult person to hang out with back then.
Oh man.
And so I'm sure you can admit that now, right? Like,
I was.
They probably have points like, oh my God,
dude.
I'm just trying to focus on playing my best game, and my brother's in the stands getting kicked out, yelling at people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And it's like, he told me that. He's like, man, I'm trying to focus on a game. I see you getting escorted out by security. I'm like, oh, my bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was one of those things like you're saying. He was like, dude.
Well, it's a double-edged sword because I see it two ways. Maybe a way that Gordo doesn't, and maybe he does now. Maybe some of your family does or doesn't. But I see it both ways. I see his side, which is like, God, this is like this thing happening. But then there's this other side to it, which I also see because I can relate and I work with this type of community and I also belong to it. I can see what a cool thing that you were even going. You've always, since I've known you, you've always been a huge supporter of your brother.
Oh,
to this day, I see you giving food to the Cruces High kids when they're going on the state. Like you're so involved. And so it's like, it comes from this beautiful place where you're just trying to be a good brother. Yeah. You're fully supporting them. You just maybe had your own stuff going on the side.
Yeah.
But that's awesome that you even went.
Dude, yeah. One thing with me about that, like with the Cruces basketball and stuff, now that I'm doing a lot better, I'm not saying I'm the richest or got all this money, but I'm helping out in any way I can, especially sports-wise. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To me, if these kids are going to the state tournament, I don't call it, they deserve a little something. You know what I mean? A little bag snack, that goes a long way. You know what I mean? And I try to be that person and, give back, man. Even people will trip out on this, but I'm always giving to the churches and a bunch of other things, stuff people don't know,
Well, it's because you understand what it's like to have nothing and to kind of ruin the things you have a little bit, right?
Yes, and
so you kind of understand how important those little things are.
Yes, and not too long ago, I went to a church thing and I was talking to this pastor and he had known me from my dark days to now, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, I went over there and they were talking about getting some stuff together, this and that. I'm like, well, here's some money for it. I want to donate all of it. You know what I mean? I don't want my name being thrown out there. I don't want, I'm not. And so, I started, if you know me, you can ask all the guys I work with, from Buzz to Money to the other guy. Dude, if I'm somewhere and I see a homeless person or something out there, I'm hooking them up very fairly to where the guys are like, dude, you just gave that dude $100, man. You don't know what this man's going through. You know what I mean? The other day, I seen some dude walking from 17th Street. I knew he was coming out of county jail. He had his little bag, his little thing. And, I pulled over and I gave him, I think, $275. And he was just in shock. He's like, who the fuck? Who are you? And I said, hey, man, I understand. I don't know your story or anything, but it gets better. You know what I mean? And sometimes, like I said, they don't hear that. And my pastor, when we were talking, he was sitting there telling me, he's like, you know what, Matthew? All these things that you have and you've accomplished, it's God paying you back for giving your shirt. Because, people don't know that about me, man. Right now, my mom's house, for my mom, I told her, Mom, what do you want for your birthday? You know what I mean? I would like my room done this, but I'm demoing the whole damn house now. You know what I mean? From at least 10 grand worth of work, from tile to paint to this, to you name it, it's getting done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, back to what we were talking about earlier, I have those people who are like, oh, you're just you think your shit don't stink now, man. They don't know what I'm doing or how you're saying donating to the basketball teams. And it's
well, the people that matter, like, I'm sure your mom sees it. I saw it. I'm sure the people it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Like, people see it and they know.
And the people that don't deserve to see it anyways.
They don't. And life,
it's not even worth arguing with them.
I've learned in life, dude, that I used to wanted to impress everyone. You know what I mean? I don't want nobody talking about you. Get what I mean? I don't. Yeah. So I would try. Now I realize I could give a shit as long as my good people and my family, they know I'm doing good. I don't got to prove nothing to nobody.
Yeah.
That life is over. But I used to be that person. Oh, I'm going to finish the last beers. I'm going to take the extra shot. I'm going to have this. I'm going to floss with my brand new shoes. You get what I'm saying? Now I could care less. You know what I mean? Because I've learned in life, dude, that I thought people were my close friends. They're the ones that are just even family members. They're the ones talking, oh, this dude thinks he's the shit. It's not even nothing like that. You don't know how much people, like I got back to work-wise money. I'm trying to help everyone out as much as possible as I can. You know what I mean? And they don't see it like that. They're just like, oh, that dude's a snotty. Yeah, I'm not nothing like that, man.
Yeah.
You could be someone I know, like not personally or never really hung out, and maybe reach out to me and be like, hey, Pee Wee, I'm doing kind of bad. You think you could help? I'm going to help you.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to go brag about it and be like, hey, I just lent so-and-so this much money. Look at me, take a picture. I'm not going to do all that.
I think you're just misunderstood is what it is.
It is, dude. And what was I getting back to? I just had it on my mind. And it was bugging me the other day because I had talked to a friend. They're like, oh, so-and-so saying this and that about you, that you do this, you do that you still drink. And I was finding myself getting mad to where I wanted to call that person and be like, hey, what are all these rooms? But in my head, I'm thinking, it's because they're miserable. They want to drain me down into their bullshit. Misery needs company.
Misery loves company. Yeah.
And it's the same people because I'm going to be straight up. I post everything on Facebook, on my stories for this and that. And I've gotten message from certain people like, hey, man, why are you doing all that? You need attention? Because I posted a video of me dancing like on my story. And but believe it or not, I got messages from I could tell you off the top of my head from 22 plus people. Hey, man, you really made my day by doing that dance video.
You are hilarious, man. I love what you post. I love your Jake Paul videos.
Oh, dude, those are about to come soon again. I've been working on some.
I think that you're misunderstood. I think that's really what it is. I think that not everyone has the ability. People always say see the best in people. I don't know if that's the best phrase because you should see the worst in people too.
Yeah.
But you should have a good combination of the two and come up with an idea of what you see. I like to look at someone and see like what their intent is.
Yes.
So, all right. Is Pee Wee on Facebook throwing ones in the air and dancing stupid?
Yes.
He is. But is he trying to be funny or is he trying to tell people he has money? Like, what is he trying to do here? It's hilarious. It's funny. Dude. And I can take it just as that and not decipher it and go like, maybe he has throwing money because he thinks people think he doesn't have money and he wants to prove that he has money and he's dancing wildly. That way it looks like he's partying and he wants us to all think he's not drinking, but he's apparently drinking. Someone who does all that, it's like, what are you doing? It's just a silly video. It's funny.
I'm just trying to make people laugh.
You're definitely doing that, by the way.
And like I'm saying, I got those certain negative, but 80% of the time it's from people like, oh, Pee Wee, man, that just made my day. When's the next one going to, for the example of Jake Paul's. But then I had a bunch of people too, like, man, you're stupid. Why are you doing that shit? I'm like,
there's always a hater or two.
It's always going to be, man. I learned in life from being dead broke to not nothing to what I have now. Like I could show you some of my bank account statements and you're going to be like, how in the hell did you make that? But, I'm not going to be throwing that out there. But these people that see me, of course, I got a new vehicle. In my eyes, I feel I deserve that vehicle.
Yeah.
I've never had
vehicle,
one.
By the way.
You know what I mean? I've busted my ass to, I got that of my Ford Runner, my other trucks, and I'm not out there posting pictures of my cars and my money. Like I could show you, you know what I mean? Just what I have on hand. You don't see, you know what I mean? From side jobs, you don't see me posting this on Facebook. Hey, look at this stack of
Oh, it's going to be on Facebook now.
You know what I mean? And people but you got those people who call themselves, oh, I'm a baller, and throwing out, I'm like, this dude's showing $300. What the fuck's wrong with this kid? But it's just how people think. You know what I mean?
Well, you also have to know, though, and on the other side, because this is what I do. I'm trying to help you see the other side of it. You have a history before you changed your ways.
Yes.
And so you have to carry that. So if someone thinks remember how I just told you earlier, you're surprisingly the same now as you were drinking?
Yes.
So is it that weird that someone would see you having fun online and go like, he's probably drinking it?
Yeah, that's what it is.
It's wrong and they shouldn't be doing that.
That's what it is.
But it makes sense that they would say that, right? Because you seem the same.
And it's what I tell them. I'm not drinking because I would be dead broke. You wouldn't see none of this shit.
But you have nothing to prove those guys anyways.
And that's what my mom told me. My mom said, Pee Wee, what do you have to prove? You know what I mean? You don't. And like I was telling you, I would find myself when somebody would say something, I would try to get my point across but now I don't even waste my energy on it. I'm like, what for?
Yeah, you'll know your audience.
Yeah, you know. And I'm like, if they're talking bad about me or whatever, who cares? Obviously, they're following me or watching my every step because they know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Like with my mom's house, I had somebody, just talking shit. Where'd you get all that material from? I know you took it. Would you like to see the receipts for everything? It's just what people know about sometimes in your past. They think since they're not doing better for themselves, they're thinking, oh, this guy's still up to no good. Man, I'm far from that,
But you almost have to own it and be like, all right, I'm cool with that.
Yeah, you have to. That's what I just suck it up and whatever. That's what you think.
And it sucks, and people shouldn't be doing that. But it's like, it's one of those things when you know that you have a past in something and it comes up, it's easy. Specifically, I totally relate to you, by the way. When someone tells you you're doing something or not, it makes you want to be like, who are you to tell me? And you go off on that rant.
Yes.
But that's almost like fueling the fire that doesn't even need to be a fire.
Food, yeah.
And it's a waste of time. Because then you look, it almost makes you look like that is what you're doing, right?
Yes.
And so I think I'll stick to what I said I like to think that I'm a pretty good judge of character and I read people very well. I think even just having this conversation since you walked into the house till now, I can kind of see some things in you, man. I think that you're a really hard worker. I think that you're misunderstood. And I think that you bring a lot of stuff to the table that even you yourself are still trying to figure out how to get credit for. And that's totally fine. But I think that you bring a lot of good things. And when you tell me these stories about where you've been and where you come from, I don't see any of them and think I'm better than you. I see all of them and think I can relate to them. And I see all of them and think like, how cool is it that you're this way now?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that makes you such a better person. And don't feed too much into people. Just know that people are, even this one, people are going to watch this and be like, oh, he just pulled his money out on the podcast because he's trying to prove something.
Yeah, big time.
Maybe you are, maybe you're not. Who cares though? Like that's for you and for you to know. And
And the thing, like I'm saying, you have those people who they're look at me. I mean, that's like, dude,
that's the flip side, right?
Yeah.
Is people do it that don't have it and they're getting 2 to 3 times as much views as you. And here, all right, let's get serious for a second about this. I think a lot of it stems from hip hop music. And I say this as a fan of hip hop music. I love hip hop, but it's so glorified. Take women, for example. Cardi B made it really popular to be slutty and to do slutty stuff and for it to be cool. And take anyone else, all the baby, all these people that talk about money, hoes, cars, and clothes, T.I., all of them, they made it cool for those things to be cool. Yes. And so, like, I know that as someone who was influenced by hip hop at one point. I had big old earrings. I had tall tees.
Same here.
I had jerseys on backwards.
Same here. Yeah, dude, same here.
That's what it is it becomes cool if you do those things. But here's where I want people to understand this and people that are watching this. And if there is someone out there trying to figure out why does Pee Wee keep bringing up this? Why does Pee Wee keep bringing up if he showed his bank account? Why did he bring up the money? And I'll guess, and you tell me if I'm right. I think it's because for the first time in your life, you did a lot of hard work to earn that money.
Oh, yeah.
And you did a lot of good things to become where you're at. And why is it not cool for someone that works hard to show it off, but it is cool for someone that didn't do anything or potentially isn't even real to show it off and they get all this love?
Yeah.
Is that how you're feeling a little bit?
Yeah. And the thing, like you're saying too, like about that, the first thing when they see it, oh, well, you're selling drugs. There's no way. I'm like, man, we just painted a big house that was about $30,000.
And you said that too, by the way.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And first thing they think, oh, well, this dude, man, if it's not, I wish I was making this much money sitting here selling drugs, but I'm out there, like when you're saying these, I'm getting it from the mud. What are you getting from the mud? You want to talk about digging from the mud? I mean, I could kind of relate to that. You know what I mean? I started off with the wheelbarrow and just a damn shovel. Next thing you know, like I was telling you, people just, hey, I got this guy, Mathew, that could do. I just started seeing money I've never seen in my life, dude. You know what I mean? To where I could do things like I'm doing now. My mom's house, for not having to worry, how am I going to pay my bills next month? It's, you know what I mean? A blessing in disguise.
I think you're a character, man. You have a lot of character inside of you and you're interesting and funny and you have all these things and you're doing better in life. And I am so proud that you haven't changed that. Like you're still the same guy, but just with a better, healthier way of looking at things.
Just with a little more brain, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then I'd be, stuck with
it. And it's so, and for anyone who decides to judge anyone that's been to jail or done something stupid, I would challenge you to look at your own life and think about moments you could have got caught and didn't. Because I went to juvenile jail. I don't have a record. I have no felonies.
Yeah.
My brother did 3 years in prison. And he's doing amazing in his life. I've never been more proud of someone in my life. But I will honestly say this, and people that are listening can take it however, and maybe you'll relate to this. The only difference between me and my brother is he got caught. He got caught doing something. But the reality of it is, and I will admit this, I've done things that would be considered illegal and didn't get caught for it, right? I've stolen stuff from stores. I've done it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just didn't get caught. And so it's like, the difference is before you go out and judge someone, you should really look at yourself and figure out what you've done. And why is it okay because you haven't been caught or you haven't been put in a position where you had to deal with it? Exactly. Why is it okay for you to act a certain way? But yet a guy like you comes along and says, hey man, I've done these drugs. I've drank this alcohol.
Yeah.
I went to rehab. I stole this couch. And you're also doing good in life. It should be perfectly normal for you to find a sense of pride in that.
Yeah.
As you should, because you earned it.
That's why sometimes I tell people, you know what I mean? People with the worst past open doors for the, how did I say it? People with the worst past open doors for the future. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes that's the way I see it, you know, because like I'm saying, man, my past is, you can ask my immediate family, shitty. Now, there's times they didn't even want to be around me. You know what I mean? Pee Wee's out of control. Now it's like, man, Pee Wee, I mean, look at what you're accomplishing. Where was this guy at 5 or 6 years ago, 7, 8 years ago? You know, I mean, it took me, I guess, 38 years to snap out of it. I mean, but like you said, too, I look back in life and I'm not saying I regret what I did. Of course, the bad things I do, but the drinking and acting wild, I mean, I don't think if I would have done that, I would be where I'm at now. You get what I mean?
I think you might, but just because like I think that you going back to the whole like you're kind of the same person not drinking than you are then, I think you would have, but I get what you're saying. I think that you just didn't have no one unlocked something in you was not unlocked until you went to Hoy.
To Hoy Recovery.
Yeah.
Because I had been in and out of jail before all this, you know, just for petty things. And every time I was in there, I'm done. I'm not coming back here. But bam, right when I got out, it was back to drinking and on the shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I kind of thinking, well, maybe my daughter was a blessing, or was it, you know, whatever it was, just made me say, enough's enough, man. It's not for you. And that's where I guess I'm at now, you know?
Well, that's super impressive, man. Not a lot of people get to live to see the day where they figure that out.
Dude, I've met friends and stuff that, you know, have tried to stop drinking and they find themselves drinking a month later. They're like, well, I mean, you just got to have that mentality. You know what I mean? If you're going to be weak about it and just think, oh man, I need a beer so bad my day. I mean, sometimes I just think, man, there's people out there 10 times worse than you. You don't need that beer. There's people going through shit through life that you don't know. You know, you actually got it pretty made. You're just mad because your boss yelled at you. You get what I'm saying? Kind of something. It's just, and I was that person. I would just find an excuse to drink. I think it was, you know what I mean? Like I'm saying, hey, I got to go to Walmart, but I got to be drunk. I need 4 beers before I get in there. You know, it's like, for what? Oh, my cousin's getting baptized. Boom, I got to get slothed before I even get to the church. It's like, it's just relying on that stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Relying and to me, how can I explain it? I felt like without the alcohol, I was nothing. You know what I mean? Now I feel opposite. With alcohol not in me, I don't know. I don't get it. You know what I mean?
So where do you find your sense of being now that there's no alcohol or drugs involved? Like what wakes you up in the morning? What keeps you going, and what helps you continue to make money and work hard, but also like have good mental health?
I think just seeing everything that I've accomplished and able to help like certain people out, you know what I mean? Like to wake up and be able to say, oh, I could donate some money to my nephew's thing, and compared to in the past to where I could barely even buy a ticket to go watch Gordo play, you know what I mean, in high school. You get what I'm saying? So at night, I swear, at night I'm sitting there, I pray, you know what I mean? I don't look like the religious guy, but I sit there and I thank God every night. I truly believe that, you know what I mean? Something or whatever sparked me to do a complete 360. You get what I'm saying? All of a sudden, for scrounging into change to having bigger and better things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like you were saying, I had the buddy saying, hey man, you're good now. You know what I mean? You're up here. It's time to drink again. Celebrate your accomplishment. I'm like, I can't do that. You know what I mean? To me, you may be able to have one or two, but I'm too scared to go full blown and spiral straight down to dead zero. You know what I mean? That it really terrifies me to even have a sip. You know what I mean? What we were talking about earlier. I just can't. I don't ever see myself doing it. So you asking me, how do I wake up, not just staying motivated? I just think about all the shit I was going through, you know, from smoking the meth to being in and out of jail to scrounging for change. I'm like, I can't go back to that person, man. That person, he's gone. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm a new whole person. You know what I mean? Because, dude, it was bad. I'm fighting with family members, me and Gordo getting into it, me pushing my sister. And I think about that shit all the time. Like, dude, you were a bad person, you know? And that's what I think clicks to keep me motivated and stay away from the beer. You know what I mean? Do I want to do that, or do I want to be where I'm at now, where I'm getting along with my family and the people that really matter in my life? You know what I mean?
What do they think of you now? What kind of things does your family say to you and make you feel?
Man, I could show you one thing that my mom texted me the other day, and she was like, what did she say? I erased every damn thing. I hope I have it.
Well, if you find it, you can read it.
Let's see here. What did it say here? Oh, let's see. I'm very grateful of you and all you do. She's all, love you more than you can ever imagine. You make my heart beat. I said, for what? Fixing your house? But then I have to sit there and realize
you have a hard time accepting compliments.
I have to sit there and be like, she is proud of what you're fixing her whole house. So I'm that idiot. You know what I mean? For what? Fixing up. But she's opening up to me like, Pee Wee, it's a good thing that you can do this for us without no hesitation. You know, because when we went to get the tile and stuff for the bathroom, she's like, oh, well, I'll just get this one. It's 89 cents a square foot. I'm like, nah, go all out, Mom. You know, get this marble shit.
Yeah.
You deserve it. You know what I mean? And yeah, man, it's just, I think my mom is my main mentor. You know what I mean? Without her, I don't even think I would have ever made it, man, at all.
You get what she was saying though, right? Like,
yeah, she was just in a way telling me, Pee Wee, your accomplishments are
holistically.
Yes, and
the house.
My stupid ass is thinking for what? Putting tile.
That's so funny, man. You know? See, I'm learning more about you the more we hang out. Like, you have a hard time accepting compliments.
Yes, you know, and it's like, you know, my dad for Father's Day had been bitching. You know, I just want $100 to go to the casino. You know what I mean? I'm not giving you no $100. I ended up giving him $500. You know, and you know.
Yeah.
And he was like, you know, Pee Wee, like trying to hug me and get off of me. You know what I mean? But he was trying to open up to me like, you know, hey, I'm proud of you, fucker. Because me and my dad has always had that relationship of me growing up. We were down each other's throat, arguing, fuck. And now I find ourselves bonding, you know what I mean? And my dad, he's got that, like I was telling you, that toughness in there. He's not going to come and say, hey, son, I'm in a way, he's like, hey, cabron, you fucking did something. And you're not being a pendejo no more.
And you're like, he loves me.
Yes, in my eyes, that's him saying, you know what? I love you, fuck. But it's just the way he words it, you know? But that's our relationship. People trip out how we talk, you know what I mean? Because my whole life, my dad's like, you're a pendejo, Pee Wee. You're not going to, did I drop you on your head? But, you know, that's my pops, man. And he's made everything possible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I never really, you know what I mean, sat there and said, you know what, Dad, I love you. Thank you. And for everything you've done. You know what I mean? My dad was like me, an alcoholic. My mom said, you better straighten up or I'm leaving your ass. You know, and he's been sober 30 some plus years, but he'll have a beer here and there, but not a problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And me, I'm opposite. I'm over it. Like I said, I'm not a dry drunk. I'm not going to knock you for having a beer or something in front of me. I'm going to be like, hey, take one more shot for me. You know what I mean? It's just, it didn't work out for me. You know what I mean? And sad to say, I don't ever think I'll ever drink again.
I don't think that's that sad.
I mean, I knock on wood.
If that's the way you feel, and who knows how you'll feel years from now, but at least you're being honest with yourself. Yeah, and that's always a good thing.
I mean, I don't want to say shit and I'm going to turn 55 and old. I don't know if I'm going to have a drink or two. I don't know what life's going to throw at me, but I know in back of my mind that what it's done to me and the consequences I had, hospital, jail, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's back to what I'm getting to, that's what I wake up to every day and think, man, do you want to do this or you're going to live your life like how you're doing it now?
Yeah.
So like the thing I'm trying to get at, I guess the alcohol was a big speed bump in my life. You know what I mean? It was something that you're going to go this path or this path, and this path, I guess, opened up and showed me what life is about. You know what I mean?
Well, there you go, brother.
It's a blessing, dude.
I think it's super impressive. I think not a lot of people get to a place where they get to talk about stuff like that.
No, not at all. You know, I still have those friends that call me like I was telling you, how do I stop drinking? What do I do? One thing, stay away from the people that are trying to force, because you know you're gonna always have that buddy. Hey man, I broke up with my girlfriend. Hey, well, let's go get fucked up.
I need you.
Yeah, let's go drink. Don't worry about her. Let's go get drink. You know what I mean? Instead of sometimes, you know what? Maybe that friend needs to hear just a little, hey, it's going to be all right, man. There's plenty more fish in the sea.
Yeah.
You know, instead of let's go get drunk. Next thing you know, your buddy had a domestic with his ex-girlfriend because you took him out partying and you fell out.
You didn't solve any problems. You just caused a new one.
This shit worse. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, you know, like I tell people, you pick and choose your path. You pick and choose which way you go. I'm not going to tell you stay sober, stay off the shit, but I'm going to try and help you out in a way to tell you, hey, you know, maybe it's not for you.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm living proof. Look at me. I was pretty much, I'm not going to lie, you know, even though my parents are, you know, they have a home, I wasn't allowed over there. You ain't coming over here on that shit. So I was just living house to house, bouncing around because I was so into the drugs. Nothing else mattered. Where's that meth at? You know, fuck my sister's, my nephew's having a birthday party. I wasn't there. All because I was high, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like you were saying, that's nothing I can go back. Let's rewind it and go back. I missed out on a good 5-6 years all because I was smoking meth, man. You know what I mean? Just nothing else mattered but that meth pipe, the meth girls I was with, and that was it. That was my life, you know? Go to work, come back, end up at the dope house, and that's it.
We have a lot better things going on now, man.
Oh,
and that's super impressive, man. To even be able to step out of that huge shadow, which you caused, right? Your own shadow.
Yeah, I caused.
To step out of that and create a new one. I don't think people understand how hard it is to even get away, but then how hard it is to stay away.
Oh, dude,
like that's super impressive, man.
That's the thing, you know what I mean? Like I told you, I stayed away from family funk, everything, because I knew there was going to be a cooler fill of beer, and the temptation is there. So. I mean, for anyone out there who's real interested, what was my product? I just stayed away until I knew I was over that hump and I could start coming out to people. And there was times I would see a beer commercial and change the damn channel. You know, like, God damn, that beer looks good.
You gave yourself enough time to get to a place with it where you're like, all right, I'm going to slowly start being around it. Maybe I won't change that commercial next time.
Yes.
And then maybe I'll go to one family gathering and see how I do around the cooler.
Yeah, it's because I knew myself. You know what I mean? I was like, and
smart
once
way of
I got
looking at
over that hump, and that was it. I mean, I found a bunch of coping skills, like I was telling you, working on the weekends, doing things that didn't involve being around certain, you know, alcohols, gatherings and stuff like that. Cause I mean, and anytime if you're an addict or on something, man, that temptation is a motherfucker, dude. It's like, for example, I'm sober for 3 days. I end up saying shit, not doing this. I come here and there's a couple guys with beers and Coke and shit on the table. Your first instinct in your brain's gonna trigger like, oh fuck yeah, you know, I'm gonna do it.
Why not? Yeah.
Why not?
I'm already here.
My buddies are doing
Everyone
it.
else is doing it.
And that's what I would find, making excuses. You know what I mean? You're doing it to yourself. Nobody's tying me down and saying I'm gonna blow this shit up your nose. You're gonna fucking do it.
Yeah.
It's all on me. You know what I mean? And like I said, I'm not telling people, oh, you stop doing what you're doing, your bad habits. Nah, man, this shit just wasn't for me. If you are happy with your life being on drugs and high all the fucking time, well, that's on you. You know what I mean? But if you want to turn your life around and be like, hey, man, I'm someone that could tell you I'm living proof. I was worst of the worst. You can ask my mom. I mean, people close to me, you know, they're going to tell you, yeah, this dude was a piece of shit. You know what I mean? And that's coming out of my mom's mouth. Now it's like, hey, Pee Wee, I love you. I'm like, man, this is what it's about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And again, not knocking it down. Don't drink. I mean, by all means, whoever watches this show, slam one for me. You know what I mean? Put the beer down. I'm not going to be like, hey, dude, that Bud Light, it could kill you. It could.
Yeah, you're not on your high horse trying to stop the world from it.
I'm not trying to stop the world.
You just understand where you're at with your stuff.
And then I run into the other crowd because I still go to AA You know, I got people that will call me, hey, can you come tell your story at AA? And you know what I mean? I tell them the same thing. I'm not here to try and turn your life around and tell you, but I am here to tell you I'm living proof. If I did it, anybody could do it. You know what I mean? Because I was the most hard-headed, stubborn person. I don't tell. There's doctors tell me, dude, you're going to die. Oh, whatever. You're a dumb doctor. Checked out of the hospital, straight to the Pickwick. Yeah. I mean, being in the hospital 9 days, about to die from it, I was right there drinking. It's like, it's crazy, man. It's just crazy how if you function or you think you need to function on it, that's how I was. I need this beer around, and it was all in my mind, man. That's it. And now I'm opposite from that. You know what I mean? I'd rather get that doctor. Now I'm having a problem with sodas. I'm drinking. Dude, if you were to see my pantry, it's just, so full of junk food. I'm that person waking up at 2 a.m. to go urinate and drinking 2 Dr. Peppers, maybe a Twinkie and a handful of Starbursts. It's like,
now you're on to your next thing where like, how do I switch this up?
How do I stop this now? You know what I mean? Now I'm a sugar addict. You know what I mean? But it's just addiction's everywhere. Yeah. Like you were saying, it could be.
Just chip away at it, man.
For video games, sex, tattooing. I mean, everything.
Yeah, everything's
labeled an addiction, man. It's just how you approach it and how you control it. And you know what I mean?
I agree.
That's how I see it. But
we're going to have to wrap this up, brother. We've been going on 2 hours almost.
You got it, man. Hey.
My guy, I'll leave you with this, brother. I really appreciate you coming down. I really appreciate you having this conversation. Yeah. I think me and you intended to like kind of be funny and we did a little bit, but it's kind of cool that I got to know another side of you, man. I appreciate you sharing some of the stuff, man. I'm super proud of you, man. I know that your family is too, and thank you for coming on here to share some of this stuff.
Anytime, man. Maybe next one we could bring me and Gordo, and we might have a family brawl in here, but
maybe when we get a bigger room then.
Yeah, most definitely.
Hey, my brother, I appreciate you. Much love. Ladies and gentlemen, Mathew Castillo, a.k.a. Pee Wee, my guy. Sir. All right, we're out. You ready?
Yes, sir.